Hi everyone, welcome to another Hatton's Model Railways live stream, and today I've prepared for you a little diorama and some of the best-selling products that we have if you're looking at including a dock or a harbour scene on your layout. Now, these really can vary in size and different operation methods and different ways of including them onto your layout too. So I've put together some of the items that we have available right now, either made from resin or some of the kits that we can offer you too. If you'd like to learn any more about the items that I'm showing you today, either head to the link in the description or feel free to add some comments in the chat, and I'll give you a little bit of inspiration on how to model a harbour or a dockyard on your 00 gauge layout. But let's get started, and I'll show you a quick close-up of the diorama that I've got set up in front of me. This is just built on top of a cardboard box for now, but I've put some of the items that we do offer here together so you can see them in close up and have a look at what we do have available. So looking through our little scene, our P-class locomotive has arrived with a single van, bringing some of the items either to load onto the ships, or in the case here, we've got our fisherman waiting, and he's just come off his ship down the bottom there, ready to load some of the latest catch of the day into the van that we have here with our P-class. And smaller scenes such as this were seen all across the railways in the UK and beyond throughout the 19th and the 20th centuries. They are getting a little fewer and further between now, but dock railways are still just as important, mainly for the transfer of larger intermodal containers from container ships. We see very little of what we see here now with the fishing fleets coming in and then being transferred into wagons such as this. Whilst we've got a smaller scene here today, you can, if you want, build a huge sprawling dockyard system. This is Goole Docks in East Yorkshire. This is in the mid-20th century, and you can see here the sheer amount of traffic using this particular docks, not only coming into the docks, but also the ships there too, and the many different cranes used for loading and unloading the wagons onto the ships and vice versa. This was a major source of traffic for the UK's railways for over a century, so it's a really great way to add on a different diorama to your layout. And of course, a lot of you may have transport interests that extend beyond railways too, so you can add a little or a large dock to your layout without much cost. So let's have a look at some of the finer details of what items I have here. I'll take you back over to our close-up, and I'll show you some of the different elements that I've got here today. The buildings are from the Bachmann Scenecraft range. These are the fishing net lofts, so used for keeping fish in once they have been unloaded from the fishing boats before transfer into the rail or road vehicles that are coming available. These are available right now. They come in the pairs of two, a little and large, that you see here. So between the buildings that I've got here today, we have two sets on our diorama today. You can buy a wide range of dockside buildings, such as the Gagemaster Ford Hampton range kits, which offer a few different styles there too. Mainly brick-built buildings, so ideal for your dockyards of the 19th and 20th centuries, and dockside scenes such as this, where our railway runs right up to the edge of the water to be able to unload and load up to. One thing I've not got to hand here today, with this being a smaller dockside, is one of the many cranes that we saw in the last picture. And these travelling cranes were built on rails so they could move up and down the large docksides. This again is a kit that's available right now from the Gagemaster collection. We also have dapole kits available in 00 gauge, and they are really nice and fun plastic kits to put together. So if you're feeling a little bit of inspiration for a larger dockyard, we can cater there for you too. Whilst we're looking at this particular picture, you'll see that the track has the sets, or in some cases the cobblestones, in between and alongside the docks too. The dockside areas wouldn't only be used by railways, to be used by other vehicles and pedestrians too. In fact, we can see here a scene. It's not actually in the UK, this scene, but it's a very common setup to as would have been in the UK, with the track laid there in the granite sets alongside the dockside, where the boats would moor up and transfer their loads into the waiting railway wagons. And that's something I've achieved here on my diorama, which you can see in front of us. I have used the Cobblestones from the Wills kits today, but you can use the likes of the Cobblestones from the set that we have here from Metcalfe. And of course, various other suppliers are out there too, including Chooch Enterprises and more. So take a look at the range of those we have. You can either put them down next to your rails, or you can cut them into shape and fit them in between your rails to really complete that look too. So let's head back over for a closer look at our scene there. I'll point out some of the other items. The boat, the fisherman, and the crates that we have here are all from the Harbour and Hamlets range. Just make sure my display is not falling down there for a second. Just make sure my boat is staying up. And these are all resin, pre-provided, pre-coloured, and ready to install on your layout. You can see one just coming off in the corner there with the fishing crates, and I'll put some more on the screen for you now. You can see the various shellfish and lobster pots on the left-hand side, and a fisherman in his oilskins tending to some of those pots. And again, some of the smaller vehicles that we have in this range, with some of these smaller motorboats and fishing boats that are provided there too. So have a quick look at what we've got available. Again, these boats are around £30 each and available pre-painted, as you can see here. Perfectly ideal for 00 layouts, and I'll just give you a close-up again so you can see this particular vehicle in front of us here. I'll just hand you over and I'll put that up to the camera. So they do come pre-painted, pre-textured and pre-numbered, as you can see. So I'll put that back by the side. The dockside wall, this is something that really depends on your exact location. And I do recommend taking a look at various different docksides and various different models out there to see what's right for you. This is the Chooch Enterprises Harbour walling, which is a larger stone effect seen at more earlier docks out there, but can still be seen at some. This is just a thin layer, which I've applied to the front of my cardboard holding here, as you can see. This is either a self-adhesive backing, or you can stick it on with PVA, and it is flexible too, so you don't have to have it in a straight line if you don't want. So that is available right now and right there. Finally, of course, let's talk about the rolling stock that we've got here. This is probably one of the most important and exciting parts of the show to look at, and various different railways built specific locomotives to run onto dockside areas. One of these is, of course, our own P-Class that you see here in front of us. They were initially built for passenger services, but the 8 locomotives made their homes on the various dockyards of the Southern region and Southern Railway throughout their lives. We have other locomotives available right now which are perfect for dockside layouts, being built for them and operating on them for more than 30 or 40 years. If you're a 00 gauge modeller, check out the Dapol LSWR B4 tank engines, which were used at Southampton docks for over 50 years. And if you're a diesel modeller, take a look at the Class 07 from Helgen. This was the replacement for the B4s and, of course, the USA wartime dockside tank locomotives. And these were in place until the late 1970s, working around the docksides too. So you'll often find that very specific locomotives do head onto these dockside areas, and it's hard to find them anywhere else too. So if you're a fan of a particular locomotive, such as the 07 or the P-Class, maybe a dockside is the thing that you have been looking for to incorporate one of these in a fully authentic scene. But as you can see here, you don't need a huge amount of space to be able to set up a dockside on your layout. Whilst we can look at one of the huge sprawling dockyards like we saw before at Goole, you can create one of the smaller scenes or maybe part of a dockside with some of the items we have available right now. A couple of you have already mentioned in the chat, you're really recognizing some of the fishing lofts that we have here. And these are still in place at many docks, maybe not used anymore, but they're still an integral part of the scene, as are the dockside warehouses that we have available in kit form. So I'll just transfer you back over to the camera there. And you can see in the scale, I've left about, I'd say about 12 to 15 feet between the sea level there and the top of the dock. You would find this changes with the tide. So again, have a look at a model that inspires you or a dock that's out there to find the right height These particular pieces come in inch height lengths. And of course, you can cut down the plastic or the cardboard sheets to any size you desire to fit the layout of your choice. And if you'd like to learn a couple more skills there, have a bit of a look at our channel for more ideas there too. So we've got some great questions coming through in the chat. Thomas Lord there asks a particularly good question regarding a World War I scene. And wartime is something where it changes a little bit, but also gives some great opportunities for modelling. A lot of the buildings and the vehicles can be the same, but you do get the enhanced fleet then of items, especially down in the southeast of England, with military trains running to the Channel ports, carrying tanks and other military vehicles on wagons such as our Warwell wagons, which are available in 00 and O gauge. You also got British locomotives working on both sides of the Channel during both World Wars at Dockyard, with 2P classes being operated in France in World War I, alongside Dean Goods locomotives and LMS Ginties too. So a very similar scene, maybe with some military ships out there, which unfortunately aren't really available in resin, but you can have a look at the Airfix kits and other suppliers out there that we do have to build up some more of the military style boats that you would see in the docks at this time. But as it goes on the land, the dock itself wouldn't really be much different in its structure. You'd certainly have a few more military personnel and military vehicles arriving by train, but otherwise you're still looking at the same dock walls, a lot of the same buildings as they were repurposed in this period. But a scene such as this, we can change the locomotives, the people and the boats and make a scene of anything over the last 150 years or so. The docks themselves have remained very similar in how they're constructed. Right up to the current day, we still see smaller docks such as this, mainly in more tourist areas now, not performing their initial roles, but you'll still see the cobblestone and set docksides, sometimes with the rails still in them, as we see here. I believe this image is in Denmark, actually, but there's a lot of places in the UK where the rails have still been left in the docks to show the former duties of years gone by. And this is a great way to enhance your layout too, setting the cobbles or the sets inside the rails. It's easily possible by cutting down either the plastic or the card sheets, making sure you've got enough space for your flanges to run there, and then adding them on to your layout too. So you can add that on there at your pleasure. So that covers the various items that we've got here today. Although there are a lot of kits available, everything you see here on my diorama today, I've not done any painting or modeling or cutting or chopping. I've stuck the walls on here onto the side of my temporary cardboard box, and the ship, the loco, coaches, fishermen, lofts, the whole lot that you see there does come pre-painted and ready to install on your layout. So you really can get one of these scenes going with not much work at all if you wanted to. The figures and the items start off at around £5, and check out the link in the description. You'll be wanting to look at the Harbour and Hamlet's Quayside range, all of which starts with product code QS if you want a closer look at that. But again, everything is right down there for you in the description if you want to find the buildings, the sets, the cobbles, the walls, the whole lot. Everything I have shown here today is available from us right now, and you can pick it up and order it if you wish to build a scene here. Any more steam locos for recommendations for docks? Certainly can do. I can treat you to a couple more of those. Again, if we're heading down into the southeast, the Southern Railway looked at buying some locomotives in World War II, and eventually they arrived at the USA tank locomotives built in the USA and initially for World War II duties. Around 16 or 17 of the locomotives were used by the Southern Railway on tight dockyard workings into the 1960s. The LMS, LNER and Great Western Railway also had their own dockside locomotives. While there's no models that I'm aware of the LMS and the LNER versions, if you're a Great Western modeler, maybe looking at a fishing village down in Cornwall or Devon or maybe even South Wales, you could pick up one of Helgen's 1361 or 1366 class locomotives, both of which were built again for working on tight curves and tight tracks in the Dockside area. And that's one thing that's great to mention. Docksides were typically known for the tight radii curves. Tight curves on the layouts are always something we try and avoid, but with short locomotives and four-wheel goods wagons, we really can start incorporating first and second radius curves on our layouts, so we can squeeze a lot into a small space on any double O gauge model railway with the items that we have here today. So check out the link in the description. I've not got a price for the Scenecraft building in front of me, unfortunately, but if you want to check it out, it is on that link in the description there. The product code is 44-0039 if you're having a little trouble finding it, but we have got these available right now. I remember they're at a bargain price, but the exact digits have escaped me, unfortunately, so I do apologise about that. But everything that I've got here today, and even more besides this is just a small selection of the kits, accessories and locomotives that we can offer for a dockside scene are available right now on our website. That includes the accessories from Harbour and Hamlet that we mentioned previously, some of the kit-built buildings from Dapol and the Gauge Master ranges, and appropriate locomotives including the steam locos we've mentioned, and of course the famous Class 07 Dockside shunters that you can pick up too. So head over to our website for more information. If there's anything else you'd like to know, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Leave a comment on the video or get in touch with our customer experience team, who would be more than happy to advise on any of the items I've shown here today or answer any further queries that you do have. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. If you were inspired by this, please do send some photos through of your dockside layout. I've already had some through via email. I believe a gentleman called Mark sent me through a video actually, which was fantastic to see some modelling there going on. And I'm always excited to see what you guys and girls have been creating out there too. So please do be inspired by what we've seen here today. Have a look through our channel for more videos to inspire you, including some more of our how-to guides on modelling engine sheds, carriage sidings, industrial railways and more, and our popular skills cast sessions too, which can give you more great skills and knowledge on how to enhance your model railways such as this. Don't forget to subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube channels, where you can catch those videos and even more on all the latest model railway news, and they feature our greatest bargains that are available right now too. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.